a Mickey Mouse Super Bowl in terms of the fact that there was nobody there. Like there
Yeah.
was way less people. But still, it doesn't take away the fact that like getting to that stage and being in that environment, like they were covering it like there was a ton of people there. Like
Yeah.
there was a bunch of people there and it was still the Super Bowl. But like for me, it was kind of just like realizing where I'm at, knowing where I'm at, knowing where my feet are. I think going back to
Yeah.
what I was saying before, it's like knowing where my feet are and knowing even a year before that, I went to the Super Bowl in Miami and I was like, next year I want to work the Super Bowl. Next year I
Yeah.
want to be working the Super Bowl. And I said that like whatever. I think that they were coming out onto the field. The team was coming out onto the field, and I was like, I said this to my wife, and I was there with my wife's dad, my father-in-law, and I was like, hey, next year I want to be here. And he works in the NFL too, and he was like, that's gonna be tough. Like that'll be if you're working for the team, awesome. But if you're working there with just by yourself, like that's gonna be tough. And the next year, we just so happened to make the Super Bowl, and I was working the Super Bowl, so it was like a dream realized. Getting to
Yeah.
that spot, getting to that opportunity. Didn't shoot it well. The moment definitely, was. I felt the moment, but it was one of those things where it was just like it was so wild. Like it was crazy to be there and to now look back on it. To go into my dresser and pull out the box with my Super Bowl ring in it, says my name on it. All those different things. It's just very lucky, and you just have to know where your feet are and always think about where you came from.
Yeah. Absolutely. I really like your story because there's a lot of points where you're like, this is what I want to do. And then you're like, oh,
Mhm.
it's inspiration because
Mhm.
you asked the world for something and it delivered every time. And
Yeah.
it's just a testament to that specifically that you can ask the world for what you want. You're like, hey, next year I want to be working the Super Bowl. Boom, it
Yeah.
happens. Um, so I feel like definitely laying out what you want to do is important and saying what you want to do is important because
Absolutely.
that allows, the world listens to that stuff. God or whatever your higher power is listens to what you want out of life.
Mhm.
And, just got to put the work in from there on out.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's something too. Like you can ask everything, but if you're not putting in everything, you're not going to get it out. So like
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part.
Yeah. You can always control input. Can't always control
Yep.
output, but also don't complain about output if you're not putting in any input. Always got to
Exactly.
put input in. Yep.
You gotta make that. That's gotta be the quote. That's gotta be the quote, bro. That's the biggest thing that people have to realize. I think is like you're yelling at the world and being like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. It's like the world will yell back at you and be like, you're not doing anything. Like you're just
Yeah.
sitting there. Like if you
Yeah.
don't get up off the couch, you're not going to get a job in X company that you want to get into. Like you're not going to get that if you're
Yeah.
not putting in that consistent work and that consistent effort.
Yeah. I mean, like I had my mind, I grew up around the gym. I grew up around football. I had all of these workouts. I knew what to do when it came to losing weight. I had all of the information,
Mhm.
but all of the information doesn't do you any good if you don't act on it and you don't do things with it.
Yep.
And that's with anything. And it's so funny because just a little bit of action, just a little bit of effort can start snowballing into more and more and more, but you need to at least take that first step because it's so
Mhm.
vital. It's so important. You need to, because that is your mind going, this is what I want to do, and your body following suit, taking that first step outside, sending that first email. That is all so vitally important.